Welcome everyone to week 10 of the quarantine. This is like a super quick introduction because I just wanted to do the stupid little mustache thing. So obviously, as you can tell, I shaved. The plan wasn't initially to shave really at all. I was kind of just trying to trim it up, but of course it was literally the second time I'd ever used my razor. So I like cut into the stash a little bit. So when I actually had, I think it was somewhat okay. I don't ever have my hair like that, so I was like, I don't even know if this looks right. I don't know how beards are supposed to look. I never do that. So for me, I was like, maybe that looks right. I don't know. But I like cut right into the mustache like a tiny bit so it didn't connect on one side. And it was like, obviously it was like this side was totally fine because of course I did, whichever side you do first, that's the side you mess up on. So I like cut just a couple of little hairs extra. It was like that really blows slash sucks because you could see the little hairs that I cut. I was like, dang, it was connected, and I just cut like a tiny bit, and I made it look weird. So then I was like, well, I guess I'll just separate both sides. And so I had like the little weird Wild West mustache going, and then I had just like hair down here, and I was like, yeah, it makes you kind of look like a villain. So I was like, oh, okay. For me, I was just like, I don't want it. I don't care. So I just shaved it all off. And then I left this specifically for this. Like, that is it. Like, when I come back to this, because I'm actually going to film again later today when I get back, because I'm actually leaving out. And I was like, I have to make sure. That was literally the only reason I didn't shave. So I was like, I have to at least do, like, the stupid little intro. So that's really it. It's still early Monday. Yeah, it's 3:30. So some other things I'm sure will happen. Like I said, I'm about to leave out. So, I'll talk about that when I get back. So it'll still be Monday. Obviously, still behind from Sunday, so I'll talk a little bit about that, even though I think I mentioned most of everything, from the end of the last vlog. But once to do that, we'll be in a different spot because this is just where the camera was, and I was like, it's literally for this. That's it, just to have some record of that time I had the dumb, like, Wild West mustache, and I shaved everything else. That's literally it. So that's it, and then I'll be back. I don't think much is really going to happen, but I'll let you guys know what happened when I actually get back. As you can see, new hat. New shirt, by the way. Well, technically, it's just the first time I've worn the shirt. It's actually an old shirt. I bought it initially for someone else, and it came in the totally wrong size. It's Ripped Apparel, the place where I get most of my nerdy shirts, and it's actually an extra large, and it was supposed to be. It was actually, I bought it for a friend. It was supposed to be a women's medium or something, and for whatever insane reason, one of the shirts came in like it was supposed to, and then this shirt came in by itself in a totally different package, and it was a men's extra large. I was like, well, that's super wrong. And then that's, it was way before all this stuff happened, and I just didn't end up returning it. And then one day after I watched it, I was like, well, I had this thing for like 2 months now, just sitting around. I was like, I might as well do it. So I tried it on. I was like, okay, for an extra large, that's not that bad on me. So I have a My Hero shirt now. So yay. Also, new hat. I got this when I went to my dad's. Update for, in general, for this vlog. It's actually Thursday. So there's a lot to discuss. There is a lot to go through. It's been a real crappy week. It's been a busy week, but also real crappy. So I never really explained Sunday because on Monday I was like, I just wanted to do the stupid little stash thing and then, head on out. So Sunday was my mom's birthday, of course, Memorial Day weekend. Went to my aunt's, we celebrated. There are only like 6 of us, so it was like a couple of people spread out in the backyard in the garage. So did that, was there for a couple hours. Picked up another mask. My mom had got me one before, so ended up going to her place, getting a mask, and then I came back home. Monday, I ended up going to my dad's. Of course, as I mentioned. So my dad and I took my grandmother and my 3 little cousins. We all went to get ice cream. They all got ice cream. I was like, I still have like the Reese cup and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch ice cream. I was like, I'm trying to be healthy. And also Monday was insanely hot. It was like crazy, crazy hot Monday, Michigan Monday. So we went to get the ice cream and everything, and it was just hot in that place. It was weird, of all places. It was just a little spot. It wasn't like a chain place, but just a little Frosty Boy thing, or that might even be the name. It's one of those types of spots where it's just Frosty something or whatever. So we get there, we get inside, and it was an inferno. It was insane. It was so warm already, and then like I just was sweating up a storm, and I was like, of course I don't want to be like rubbing my face and stuff in public. So I was like, all right, I just need to like step outside. Like no one was even in there. It was just that hot that day. So I stepped outside, and eventually I was able to cool down. Like even with my mask on, I was able to like cool down as long as I wasn't moving around or anything like that. So that was fine. Didn't get any ice cream. Did run into someone else who was wearing a mask, because when we first got there, nobody was wearing a mask but like one dude. It was like me and my little cousins. We got out first, so we walked around. Nobody there was wearing. It's a small spot, but nobody was wearing a mask except this one dude. And so this is the thing that happened. It's happened to me on more than one occasion, and I kind of hate it. It really annoys me. I get being on the same side as other people, like, oh, like, yeah, I wore a mask, like you wore a mask, or, when people ask, like, oh, did you vote for this person, or are you going to vote for this person? And it's like, oh, yeah, common ground. I don't want to have a conversation with those people, though. I never do. I never care enough to have someone say, oh, common ground, let's talk. I never want to talk to you, period. Like, I never want to talk to anybody random about anything. And so because he saw that I had a mask on and he was the only other person, started off simple. He was like, like, people don't get, it's like a biological agent stuff. And I was like, yeah, like, people, like, it was an ice cream spot, and it was just a warm day. Nobody was wearing a mask, and it was kind of weird. I was like, like, we're still, it would be one thing if we were somewhere where it wasn't big, but it's still Michigan. Like, we're still one of, like, the top spots. So I was like, it's weird that no one seems to give a crap enough to, at the very least, wear a mask. It's not, it doesn't do anything to hinder you. And some people say that, but it really doesn't, I guess, unless you have, like, the most insane respiratory issues with, even people with asthma have said it, like, it doesn't affect me, so it doesn't actually affect you. But either way, we were the only ones there. It was like me, my two little cousins, and then this guy. And so he turned around, he mentioned the the air agent and all that stuff, and I was like, yeah. And then he went on a full thing about, like, some dude who got killed who was gonna tell people, and then how Bill Gates had the patent like 3 years ago for the cure, and all the the conspiracy theory stuff. And I was just like, I hate when people talk to me. I just hate it. And it made me think of last year. This is back when Bernie was still running. It was last summer, actually. And this woman came up to me when I was leaving my apartment, and she asked me if I was voting. And I was like, yeah. And she went into this whole thing like I gave a crap about what she did and how she was helping people and was, like, spreading the word about Bernie. So I'm like, I don't give an F. If I, like, what does it matter? What do I care what you're doing? I don't. I never do. I never do. And one of these days, I'll get to the point where I just stop giving an F and I just tell people, like, I don't want to have a conversation. I try not to be mean about it and just rude to people and just, like, shutting them off. But it's also rude to assume that anyone gives a crap and wants to have have a super long conversation or listen to you speak. Because I'm like, no one does. No one does. No one wants to randomly hear you. You asked me a question, or you said your one sentence. Cool. You can say you got 3 sentences. It's like 3 strikes. You get, like, you can get a paragraph. I'll even give you 5 full sentences. You get a paragraph, and after that space, the project is done. Like, turn around, don't talk to me anymore. So that annoyed me because I was like, I don't know why he felt the need to actually keep talking to me just because, we wear the mask. Like, I don't care to hear all the extra information. I don't want to be dead. I'm wearing a mask just as a precaution. Probably fine. The people around us probably didn't have it. Who the F knows? That's kind of the point. But we didn't need to have a whole thing. And it was just like, And I'm sweating up a storm. It's, like, super hot. This is before I even stepped inside. It was already, like I said, it was just a warm day. So, and I was wearing pants, but that doesn't really change things much. I'm like 24/7, I'm a pants guy. Unless I go to, like, the last time I wore shorts was last summer when I went to Las Vegas, because it's Las Vegas. So I was like, okay. Other than that, I'm in pants all the time. I don't know. Don't like my legs, I guess. A weird thing, ever since I was young, I was just like, it just doesn't feel right to have shorts. It felt weird to me. It's just like, style-wise, I was just like, I feel like I don't look right in shorts. So I rarely do it. But it was warm, and this dude was just talking to me, and I was just like, why did he have to, why did I have to listen to this? But I just did, That's what I always do when I don't give a crap when people talk to me. I just go, And it's just random people all the time. It's always that sort of, it's either, the only people that ever do it, it's either a political thing, a religious thing, or, like, a virus thing and conspiracy theory stuff. 3 things that I don't give a crap about. Unless the conspiracy theory is how, aliens have come down from Earth because it's just silly and entertaining, I don't care. I just don't want to hear it. Unless you got a conspiracy theory that we are inside the Matrix, or we are living, we're in the Star Wars world a long time ago, or something, just dumb stuff. It's like, unless it's that, it's just real crazy out there, I don't really care. If it has to do with actual current events, it's probably not going to entertain me, and I just don't want to know. So eventually, he got his ice cream or whatever. Went in, blazing inferno. I stepped outside. We sat down for a bit. I was kind of freaking out. I was like, I don't want to sit on any of this stuff because there's just people. In general, I'm not a big fan of being, like I've always kind of been this way because I'm, like, the germaphobe. I've always been a bit weird about the tables at, like, ice cream spots or any of those places where it's, like, the metal tables with the grates. They're always, like, oddly sticky, like, just sticky enough to be like, that's gross to me. They've always been that way. I've always had, like, this weird thing about touching those very specific tables, and it's just because of how they're made and how they feel. And it was just like, they just always seem epically germ covered to me, like, no matter what. So I was just kind of freaking out about it even more with the virus. But did that, hung out with the family. I was there pretty much all day, so I didn't actually do anything Monday night. Like, I haven't done anything. I mean, obviously, I haven't done this since Monday. So I haven't done anything, period, creative wise, since Monday. And it was that tiny little clip of me with the stupid mustache. And that was it. I have not filmed anything for the gaming channel. I haven't done anything otherwise. Like the one thing I did yesterday was I actually got the footage that I needed to do like my crazy redo on my finale episode for the Deadly Tower Monsters, because I needed like an hour's worth of footage. So I just played for an hour. I redid the ending, did some of the other things I remembered doing and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I got that footage, and now I just have to go through and edit and figure it all out. So that's all I did yesterday. And I was like I was sleepy because I woke up at like 7 in the morning because once again, it's summer. So Monday was insanely hot. Tuesday wasn't too bad. I actually went out Tuesday. I went to the doctor. I did like a doctor's appointment because it had been long enough. And I was like, okay, let me kind of get my checks and do this and do that and like have everything done. Just get everything done because I need to do it because I really, I'm that type of person that never goes. I also didn't have insurance last year. So it was kind of like, at the very least, even though my insurance is garbage and it's like a $5,000 deductible, I basically don't have insurance unless I'm insanely injured. Already starting to sweat. It's not that bad. I'm surprised I'm not sweating more already. But Tuesday wasn't that bad. Tuesday was warm, but I was like, okay, Tuesday's fine. But I was actually out kind of most of the day. So I didn't end up doing anything. I got back home. I actually ended up going to Buffalo Wild Wings. Super unhealthy, but I was just like, I was out like the whole day and I was like, you know what? I want to just have like one like final treat and then like go into, kind of being healthy and whatnot or pseudo healthy, just sticking to the food I have here. So I did that. They screwed up my order, well, technically they didn't screw up the order. Something weird happened when I went online because, of course, me talking about the buy one get one free. That's all I do because I'm cheap. And so for whatever reason, went online to do that, and I went to the promo. I went to the buy one get one, and they had a thing where it was like 15 wings. So I was like, oh, well, I'll totally do that. So I was like, I'll do the 15. And I thought it was weird because I was like, it's weird. The 15 seemed to be the same price as the 10. I was like, they must have changed. And I thought that was a great deal because I was like, last time I did it, I definitely only got like the 20 wings. And I was like, that's really interesting. So I was like, cool, I'll get the 15. They changed prices, whatever. So I go there, they give me the 15. And of course, I'm thinking in my head, 15 buy one get one free. So I'm assuming I was going to get like the 2 big boxes. So I got the boxes and I was like, yeah, they'd be in there and they'd be all stacked up and stuff, like, because 15 could technically fit in one box. And then I opened it and I was like, hold on a second, and I counted and I was like, I got 15. And it was because for whatever reason, when I went online, it let me go to the buy one get one free thing, but it didn't actually send me to the buy one get one free thing. Like, I clicked on BOGO Tuesdays, traditional wings, but it sent me to like just regular orders of wings, and it was like 5, 10. It went from like 5 all the way up to 30. And it didn't have the BOGO stuff, but that's the link I went through. So I had to call them up, and the manager gave me like a credit for like 10 traditional wings. So technically, I'll get like 25 traditional wings. Like, of course, I ate the ones that I had. So I got like 10 traditional wings on a credit. So I have to call them up and order that at some point. But I was like, because it was weird. And then when I went online, because I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. I know I went through the promo, because typically I just click on it and like I don't even go through the actual promo thing, because normally it comes right up like as soon as you go to the website, it'll say like the BOGO thing. But I specifically hit promo and then I hit the buy one get one thing. And when I got back home to check it, I went to the website again. It still sent me to the regular wings, but when it came up, it was all grayed out. Like, I couldn't actually pick anything that time. And I was like, well, that's super odd. Like, it definitely let me go through and pick all this stuff last time, or, like basically 30 minutes ago before I went to get the chicken. And then when I got back after checking it, I was like, did I screw up? Or it's like, because like I checked the email and then I checked like my old receipt where it says like buy one, get one, 10 traditional wings or 10 boneless wings. And I was like, I'm so screwed here. But then I went through the website and I was like, okay, it did actually take me to this specific segment after I clicked on the buy one, get one. I was like, it is Tuesday, right? Because I was thinking that. I was like, maybe because it's not actually Tuesday, because with it being the way it is, especially this week, I was like, I could have my days wrong. That's definitely a possibility. So I had to go back and check all that stuff. And I was like, no, I went through the buy one, get one link and all that stuff. And it just sent me to the regular thing. And then when I did it like 30 minutes later, everything was grayed out. Like, I couldn't pick a single thing. And I was like, that's weird that would happen, because that would mean someone would have had to have done some weird update to the website in order for that to take place, I would assume. Or that's like a really weird glitch for no one to work on the website, and then all of a sudden the promo thing takes you to the wrong spot. Because I've done it before where I click on the buy one, get one, and it takes me to the correct thing. Because especially because I'd have the account you have to put in which store you're getting it from. So it was super weird. I don't know how that ended up happening, but talked to the manager and she was like, okay, we'll give you credit for 10 wings and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I didn't want to go back up. So I was like, I'll just do it some other time. So, my name's on file. So I haven't had that in a while where I had like a free meal or whatever. I think the last time that happened, it may not have been the last time, but the last time I really remember, it was Taco Bell and it was super funny. I went to Taco Bell and I ordered just normal. I just ordered like three. I barely ever go to Taco Bell, so I just get like 3 soft shells, meat, cheese, jalapenos, and that's literally it. So I happened to be going through, and this was years ago, and I had these old headphones that I got from Loot Crate, and they were Fallout headphones. And so the dude saw them when I like picked up my food. He was like, "Oh man, is that Fallout?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh man, I wish I knew that." He was like, "Hey, next time you come through, just give him my name and tell him you had like a messed up order and you get yourself some free tacos." I was like, "Okay, cool." And it was just because I had some Fallout 4 headphones on, and he was like, "Oh man, yeah, just give him my name and tell him I messed up an order or something." And I ended up getting free tacos like a week or so later, and I was like, that was really random and nerdy, but it was super funny to me. I was just like, he just happened to see him because I kept him around my neck. Because it was like right after work, and I would always listen to my podcast, so I just happened to not take him off that night after I got in the car. And I thought that was so funny. He was just like, "Oh man," like he just flipped out like, "Holy crap!" It's like Fallout headphones, and they were nothing special. They were like super cheapy, cheap headphones. But it was super funny because he saw it and was like, "Oh, you can get some free tacos." So that was really funny. But I enjoyed that because free food is free food. So I look forward to getting my 10 free wings at some point. I'll end up doing that. I don't know when, but that's pretty much what the week's been. Celebrations on Sunday, hanging out on Monday, doctor stuff on Tuesday, and yesterday was just like being super tired and like depressed again. And I hate the heat. I prefer the cold to the heat, and it's super annoying having this weird balance of like, is it too hot? Is it not hot enough? Turning on the air, because the air, of course, because it's so warm, the air is just on like 24/7 if I turn it on, and it's only at like 70. Like I don't know. I got to figure out, what temperature I'm comfortable with, where it will go on and off, because it's genuinely like, I think I had it at like 70, and it was like on all day. Like if I turn it on, it would be on for like 2 hours straight, and I'm like, how is it not somehow just at least below 70 to turn off for like 30 minutes or something? Straight run all the way through. So I think it was, yesterday, the thing that ended up waking me up, I turned it off in the middle of the night because I actually ended up sleeping on the couch because I screwed myself up on my laundry and I forgot that I didn't actually wash anything. So I took I did what I always do. I always take stuff off and then something random will happen, especially this week because I'd been out. So I just forgot to actually like do laundry while I was actually finally sitting at home. It was like, "Ooh, I'm finally home. Let me just relax now." And I forgot like all my sheets are just sitting on the ground in my room. So then I was like, So I like set stuff to wash, and I was like, well, I'll just sleep on the couch because my couch is fortunately kind of comfortable. And I was like, okay, the air's been on for a long time. I kind of woke up randomly, so I got up and I was like, all right, the air's still running. So I turned the air off just to try to save some money, and I thought it was fine. I was like, it's the middle of the night. I'm sleeping on the couch. I was under like one sheet, and I had like my t-shirt and my pants on. I guess I shouldn't have had my pants or my t-shirt on. It was still hot enough. And I woke up sweating, and I was like, holy crap. And the worst thing, I hate waking up sweating. And this happened a couple times this week. So that's when I got into like, oh crap, I got to balance out air conditioning and all that stuff. So that really screwed me up. And it happened at like 7 in the morning. And then I was just up and I was super tired. And just in general, generic life stuff has been really bugging me lately. So it did not help, like being tired and just getting like depressed again and being annoyed about just life as a whole. So it sucked. Yesterday just sucked. I was like, I barely have energy to do pretty much anything. So all I really did was I did my little recording. I got my footage, so I actually did something. At the very least, I did something. So I did that, and then I like caught up on some TV shows, and that was pretty much all of yesterday. Other than that, I did have something come in. I think was it Monday? I don't even remember, honestly. No, it couldn't have been Monday because Monday was the holiday. So Tuesday, I ended up having something delivered, and it's actually right here. And finally, I got this. So, huge deal. Haven't even opened it. That's how crazy this week has been. I got it Tuesday. I've been here. I was here all day yesterday. I did nothing. I did nothing, and I didn't know. I was debating. I was like, I don't know if I want to do like an unboxing, even though it's super old. Just like with the Death Stranding thing, I was like, I could do it for my gaming channel, do like a high unboxing, and just have like my silly tangents and talk about everything. And I was like, and that's why I didn't even open it, because I was like, I might actually do it if I feel like I have the energy. Because yesterday I was like, I know I can't do it today. So I didn't really want to open it, even though I know, I know what's in it. It's a figure, it's the book, and stuff. But I just haven't looked at any unboxing, so I don't know exactly what's in it, things like that. And I was like, I really want to, because it's Resident Evil, and I would love to do that, especially if I did decide to do like a high unboxing, just because that would be cool. But at the same time, I might just do it normal, just to finally like open this thing up and have all my stuff, and just to go through it. So that's debatable. I may or may not do it, because I did it with 2, even though that was super old by the time I got it, and this is even older now, I believe. But I still might do it, just because, just to have that, just to have that video, just to have something. Admittedly, just to have something in general. Actually, I think I did do some editing yesterday. Now that I think about it, I did, for like a little chunk of time, I actually did some decent work. I did actually edit last week's vlog yesterday, because I realized, oh crap, it's Wednesday. I haven't put out the last vlog, and I haven't put out anything. Nothing has been out on this main channel since the last vlog. Like, it was 2 weeks ago vlog, and then I was like, oh crap, I have to do last week's vlog. So that's all that's been on there, and I've been thinking about if I want to get into, there we go, with the sweat. Doing some reviews. I've been thinking about if I want to redo the 100, because it's in its final season. So is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I was like, I'm not doing anything else. Those are the only 2 shows. Supernatural isn't back on. I still don't know what they're going to end up doing with that. I think they're really giving that special attention because it's this series finale, because everything else had to end really quickly. And I think they're like, well, we can't do that for Supernatural. It's literally the final season. It's not like, oh, well, we'll catch up, next time. It's the end. And I think that's why they haven't brought back Supernatural. Like, they're waiting until they can film those last 2 episodes, and then, they're gonna put them all out. So we'll see what happens. It's not like anything's really on. They could, if they had the other episodes finished and edited, I wouldn't mind if they did like all the episodes and then they did like a 2-hour season finale or series finale, and they just did the last 2 episodes together. That would be super cool. I'd even love that. It would kind of make it even more special, where they put out the episodes they have now, and then they're like, all right, the last 2, like once this is all said and done and we're safe to get back to work, the last 2, we're gonna put them out there, and that would be cool. So we'll see what happens with that. I think they're just waiting till everything's officially done, and then they're just gonna be like, the end of Supernatural is gonna be like, a month and a half of just, whenever it ends up coming out, whenever they're, it's safe to actually go back and film. So we'll see what happens, because it's going to be a minute. But I'm looking forward to it. Whenever it comes back, I'm excited for that. I still have to freaking do those live reactions. I have not done it. And I had that plan before we even went into lockdown, and I still haven't done one. And just eventually I'll get to that. But that's pretty much what's happening. If anything special ends up happening today, then I'll probably film again, especially considering I've skipped over so many days. Because it's only, it's not even 3. It's only 1:34 right now. So if something ends up happening, if I happen to get like another pack, I only have like one thing coming. So we'll see. But odds are this will probably be it for today. But I was like, I have to actually film, because otherwise, there's nothing. But there was a lot to talk about, because like I said, I went, saw my mom. Monday saw my dad. Tuesday I went to the doctor and stuff. So I've actually been moving around. Like, at the very least, I haven't just been depressed and stuck in the house. I've actually been like busy outside of the house, just doing a couple things. So I feel kind of good about that. And then it was yesterday, and it was just like, there's others outside of the things that I physically did, including some of the things that I had to do. Life is just like, just annoying right now. It's really, there'll be a video on it, I'm sure. But I have to wait till things are officially figured out before I get into like doing that as its own separate video. So for now, it's just like, it's another crazy effing week. So we'll see what happens. Life is stupid. But for now, that's pretty much it. I just watched the 100 a little bit earlier. I watched the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was super cool. I didn't realize they were like back in time. They're in like the 1930s, I believe, which is super cool. Like the way they ended that first episode, I was like, that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. I like that concept. So see what happens. They're in their final season. The 100 is in its final season, and they did something in the 100 that I was like, I did not see that one coming. Like it was crazy. So there's a lot going on in the 2 shows that I'm actually currently watching right now. Actually, Stargirl is pretty good too. They did their 2nd episode. That is on both DC Nation as well as CW. I watch it on CW. Still waiting to do my trial for DC Nation, and then like fly through all the movies, fly through all the Young Justice. I'll probably eventually end up watching Titans as well. But like my first 2 things, watch Young Justice Outsiders, because I love Young Justice, and I just haven't seen it. So I was like, screw it. That's like the number one thing. Shoot through all of Young Justice season 3, and then step 2 is like finally catch up on all the movies, because I know Apocalypse War is like the end of like all the DC animated movies they've done, and now they're like starting it all over again like they're doing with the comics. So I'm like, all right, it's officially time for me to catch up before they start like the next timeline or whatever in the animated universe. So I'm looking forward to that, because I'm excited to see what's gonna come next, and I'm excited to see these movies in general. Like everyone seems to love Apocalypse War, so I got like, I think I still have like 10 movies probably. I haven't seen one since, oh my goodness, I haven't watched one of the animated movies since like The Death of Superman came out, or maybe even before that. But I think The Death of Superman is the last one that, or that's where I'm at. Like I saw whatever movie was before that, which may have been the Teen Titans one, the Judas Contract, and then after that was like, you know, Death of Superman, Rise of the Supermen, and then they had all the other ones, and then they had like their spread out ones. So Hush came out, which was in the continuity, I believe. Ninja Batman was outside the continuity. Gotham by Gaslight outside of the continuity, but of course I still want to see all those. So I still got like, I think I have like 10 movies almost, or something close to it. I really need to catch up because I love those movies, but I gotta go through the whole timeline. So I'm looking forward to doing that eventually, but we shall see. And then I gotta edit this freaking video. That's gonna be something. I wish I didn't screw that up and I just had my finale. I just wish I had my finale, but now I'm gonna do some extra editing. So got some work ahead of me. I feel a lot better today. I actually got some sleep, and that helps with like the crazy depression and stuff, and like helping me at least not just get stuck in like the crappy things that are happening. When I actually get a decent amount of sleep, I can at least focus a little bit on some better things. But it's crazy right now. Things are just wild. But that is Thursday, as well as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If anything extra happens tonight, then I would jump back on just because there needs to be more content. Although this has probably been like 40 minutes, so it's probably okay. But either way, I will see you guys later. Welcome everybody. It is actually Saturday, so it's once again crazy week. I did a lot of cleaning yesterday. That was mostly why I didn't end up filming or anything like that. Like I actually vacuumed for the first time since I've been here, which I've been here for like 8 months, so it was crazy. It didn't, that's the thing with carpets, they never look dirty, but they definitely are. Like I vacuumed, it just had to be within like the first minute, and I was like, that's a lot. I was like, so moved a bunch of stuff around. As you can see, I've got like more things up here. I've been trying to like clear out the actual space on the ground because it's just a bunch of my junk, and it's just like, okay, this thing is here and that thing is there. So I have a bunch of garbage, you know, next to the door. Finally, the actual box for the vacuum is empty, so I filled that with a bunch of like plastic bottles and stuff that, you know, I'm going to be tossing out, stuff that I can't return. So going to be tossing all that out, got my extra garbage and stuff. So everything is by the door to get tossed out. I still have to figure out where everything is officially going to go. I don't think that's going to go there. It's going to go somewhere. I just don't know. Same with like, you know, my Resident Evil stuff. Still haven't opened it, by the way. I still don't know if I'm going to do that video or not. Not 100% sure. But yeah, that's pretty much how things have been. I have not done any more editing. I haven't done any more filming. This is literally the only creative thing I've been doing like the whole week. I did see some videos, I think it was yesterday actually, I was watching some, or maybe it was the day before yesterday. And I was on YouTube and I was watching like some cinematic video somebody had made within Battlefront 2, and it was called like the Incursion of Bespin. I recommend you guys check it out. I thought it was pretty cool. And I enjoyed it. I was like, holy crap. That's the thing, you know, I've wanted to do that for this channel for a long time. Like, that's why I transitioned out of doing reviews and everything, because it didn't really do much for me anymore. And aside from doing Supernatural, because it's my favorite show and it's the final season, all I review are my movies, and I stopped getting Loot Crate, so I don't do that every month like I used to, because it was like, there's not much of a reason to do that anymore. So I don't even look at it, honestly. Like, it could probably still be some cool stuff. Like, I've seen some where I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. But I just don't even bother anymore. Because I'm like, everything that happened with them, I'm just like, I'm not willing to risk it. I do it for, like, the really big collector's edition stuff. So that's why I'm still waiting. And I think early next month, early June or mid-June, something in that realm. I'm supposed to be getting my first Ninja Turtles crate, and I think it's early July or something like that. It's finally when the My Hero crate comes in. So I'm really looking forward to that one the most, because the turtle thing, I'm like, okay, each one is different. It's and I probably explained this a month and a half ago when I bought it. I'm pretty sure that was during the time of me doing the early parts of the vlog. But it's what is the first one? The first one's for the comics, so there's 3 in total, and I did like the combined thing because you get an extra figure if you just buy all three at the same time. So I got all three at the same time, and I got the My Hero thing. So I did all three Turtles boxes. So the first one is for the original comic series. The second, I believe, is the cartoon, and the third is the video game, or it's vice versa, and the second is the video game and the third is the cartoon. I'm most excited for the video game one, of course, because odds are, if it's going with the video games, it's going to be the arcade classic. Actually, it's probably going to be all of them. I think the image they showed was like the arcade version of basically Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time being my favorite Super Nintendo game ever, which is why I know I showed that off, where like I have the cassette, or not the cartridge. I don't know why I said cassette, but I have the cartridge. I bought the album. I bought the vinyl record for a Super Nintendo soundtrack, because it is amazing. If you have not listened to the Turtles in Time soundtrack, it is really good. It's like, it's up there like with Sonic music and stuff like that, like old school Sonic music, even current stuff. Well, there's only like one song with lyrics that I actually like from Sonic, and it's of course the City Escape song. But as far as like 8-bit music in video games, it's like Sonic and Turtles are like the top two. Like Mario, of course, iconic, everyone knows it, but I didn't download those songs. Like I downloaded like most of the music from Turtles in Time, and a ton of songs from Sonic. Like those songs actually sound cool. Like those are worth listening to over and over again. And Mario has some good stuff, but I feel like most of the music I like from Mario are like the slower songs, and pretty much all the music is, none of their music is like really hype intense music. It's always like, oh, it's a bit faster paced, but it's very rarely like so intense outside of specifically boss battles. So definitely good music across the board. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy, same thing. Like there are a ton of great soundtracks in video games, which actually is a thing I'm going to talk about at the end of this one. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one the most. I hope most of the stuff is Turtles in Time, or at least, the arcade version of the game, because that's what I'm most familiar with. And like I said, TMNT4 is my favorite. So that's what I want the most. But I'm really excited for the first one, because when they had it lined up, they had like, this is the first figure you're going to get. It's a NECA figure. NECA is really good. That's kind of in the vein of these. This isn't NECA. This is, what is this? Figure Arts? Yes. So this is, my SH Figure Arts Cowboy Bebop. Also got my Figure Arts Zero and all that good stuff. I gotta fix this because I like broke one of the shields or something like that in the old video. But it's in that vein where they have like lots of points of articulation and stuff like that. And it was a really cool looking comic book shredder where it was like black and blue, like it had like the animation look to it. So I was super excited for that, because I was like, I love that freaking shredder figure. So I'm really excited for that, and I believe that should be in the first box because it's based off of the comic styles. I'm curious what the special figure is going to be. I don't know if they revealed it. I haven't looked into it because I think they showed specifically one of the items that is going to be in that first box. Either that, or maybe it was the My Hero one. They showed like one of the items, and I was like, I don't want to know anything. I'll just wait till I get it. So looking forward to all the turtle crates coming out. The My Hero crate, same thing. I bought the premium jacket with it, which was for overhaul, which I know I talked about that, and like I showed them off and everything. So I can't wait to see what happens with those, but that is the next 2 months, so I'm still waiting on those. But to go back to where I started talking about those, like the video itself, the gaming video, I was like, man, all the cinematic stuff in gaming is pretty much what's going to be on this channel for the most part, like going forward. I think I'm going to stick with the vlog thing, even after the lockdown stuff happens. I think I'll stick to this because it's so simple to do. They'll probably be way shorter because I won't be indoors all day. I'll just be like, all right, let me take a couple of minutes to just be like, not much has happened at work, this sort of thing. So it'll be much simpler. It'll probably be closer to what this week's vlog is going to be like, since I've been so insanely tired, and I've actually been doing stuff, which is a big part of why I didn't vlog, because I've been out, Sunday all the way up to Wednesday, which isn't really that much. It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but just being tired, and mostly the heat thing is really what's been screwing up my sleep schedule. More than anything else, it was really the heat thing, like waking up in the middle of the night sweating and stuff, which fortunately didn't happen today. And it's such an odd balance, because I'm like, well, like I'm not gonna have the air on all night long and like raising my electric bill, and it's cold enough to go to sleep without it at night. I can cover up like a little bit, and then when I was kind of waking up early this morning, I was like, I'm still kind of cold. Like I'd have my feet pretty much wrapped up because that's where most of your heat is. So I was like, okay, no socks on, because I just hate the feeling of socks when I go to sleep. So no socks on, but like I had the actual comforter kind of like covering like maybe from like the knees down, and then I still had my sheet kind of at the top. But when I woke up this morning, I was like, I'm a little cold, and I was like, I really hope if I put this comforter on and I go back to sleep, I won't wake up sweating, in the next 30 minutes, which fortunately I didn't. I remember I woke up at 9, I was like, I'm a little cold, put the comforter on me, I rolled over, passed right out, and then I woke up an hour later at 10. I was like, okay, that was that counts as successful for me. So I was happy with that. I was a little bit warm. And I think it was specifically because I was sideways, so I could feel it like mostly on this side because I was laying down. I was like, okay, I can feel warmer on this side because it's all my pressure and heat. But for the most part, I was good. And I was like, okay, that was a good night. But it might be warmer tonight. I don't know. Like, that's the weird mystery of like being in the Michigan summer heat. It's not like consistently hot. It's just like you have like the crazy couple days we had, and then it's like it cools down. But I definitely don't, want to have the air on just all night long. So it's a really weird balance. But did some interesting stuff. I cleaned, like I said, with a vacuum and everything. Had I done this yesterday, I probably would have been sneezing up a storm because it was so insane. And it didn't happen until after I finished everything because I was vacuuming and everything like that. And of course, the vacuums have like the little heat fans, to disperse heat. So it was blasting out the heat. So as you're vacuuming, the little bits of dust that you don't get blown up into the air. So as I was vacuuming, everything was totally fine. I was like, all right, go through this, move all the stuff around. I like opened up the window because it was warm enough, especially once I started vacuuming. So I was like, all right, open up, or we'll open up the sliding door, not the window, but open that up. And then I was like, all right, not doing enough. So I closed that. I actually turned the air on. I remembered I had a fan. I was like, because I was talking to my mom yesterday, I was like, yeah, I don't have a fan. I should call her today and let her know that I do. Because I forgot. I only use it in the summer, of course, same thing as last year. But I actually got it from a coworker of mine. Because at my job, we have people who come in from Japan. And so his contract was up. So he was leaving and he was giving stuff away. And I feel like I mentioned that before at some point. But he gave me his fan, and I got like a Norman Rockwell painting. I definitely mentioned that part before. But I was like, okay. I was, going through vacuum, and I was like, well, let me vacuum like my coat closet and stuff. Because, of course, when I walk in, you walk on the ground. Like, that's really where most of the stuff is because I'm actually bringing my shoes in from the inside. So I was like, I should vacuum there for sure. And then I opened it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I do have a fan. So I took that out. I was like, I'm definitely going to put the fan, like, it's in my living room now. So I was like, okay. When I don't want to turn on like the air and just have it running for an hour straight because it's just like it's still 70 degrees technically, I can just have the fan and just point it right at me, and that's good enough. Like, the whole area doesn't need to be cool. I just need to be cool. So I was like, thank goodness. I forgot I had a fan, but I have my fan. So that's plugged in now. I have my little converter because it's technically like a Japanese fan. So I have my converter thing that he gave me, and then I plug that into the wall. So I got my fan, but I was sneezing like crazy yesterday. Like, I had to blow my nose so much because of all the vacuuming I did and like the dust that was kind of up in the air that didn't get sucked in. It was insane. Like, after I finished, it was probably like 10 or 15 minutes later, and it was just like all the dust was starting to fall back down after it had been blown around by the vacuum, and it was just like from the ceiling just dropping slowly down, and I was sneezing like all day. Like, I would sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. So that was a lot of yesterday. It was me having a stuffy nose because once I vacuumed, it was all over, and I was just sneezing like crazy. So much better now. The dirt, I guess, has officially settled back into the carpet. But I was like, thank goodness that's over, because that was really getting on my nerves. But sneeze like crazy. Vacuum cleanup felt good. I still technically need to clean the bathroom because I didn't do that. After I vacuumed and I moved a bunch of stuff around, I was like, I don't want to keep cleaning. I hate cleaning. That's like my least favorite thing in the universe. So I was like, I did enough, especially because I have so much junk. It's actually way more than what you would normally do, where it's like, all right, I got a vacuum here, and you move like a table or so. I was like, I have collector's edition boxes. I have my my little figure box that I use to do like my photography and stuff. I want to leave it up because I was like, I don't want to keep taking it down and putting it back up. I don't have a table. I don't have a dining table, so I was like, it's gonna sit in the corner permanently, and when I want to use it, I'll just move it. So like that. So that's where it's at right now. And then all my other crap that I don't have, like all my stuff that I want on the walls that I don't have up, I have to move all that stuff around. I like, push the couch and everything. So I actually moved a lot of stuff around for a guy who has like no actual furniture. It's just boxes and nerd stuff all over the ground. It's like one couch. The couch is the only actual furniture I have, unless you count my bookshelves. And that's the only thing I really had to move. Everything else was some little nerd thing, and I had to clump all my stuff together and then move it out when I wanted to vacuum the space that was all clumped up. So that was a thing. So I did all of that. Still got to do the bathroom today, or at some point. Eventually, I'll do the bathroom. So that was yesterday. The day before yesterday. So I've brought this up a couple of different times, and I've mentioned at some point I would do an official video on this. But I went to the courthouse because they were open, and I was like, all right, I need to have these papers served to the old apartment complex that I was at because of the mold issue and having to sue them a second time, and then having them do all this BS because they're just crappy people. So went to have the paper served. I was like, all right, I'm going to have this served to them. I'm going to have this sent to the treasurer because I have to do garnishment because the first lawsuit that I had with them. So I'll give you guys a quick summary or like a chunk of the story. Sued them for mold. They said that they didn't know anything, even though I spoke to a woman on the phone. She literally was being a bitch about it. And this is just, it's not like me being rude. She actually was. Literally never even met this woman. She had no clue who I was and was just super rude to me. I was like, hey, this court case is happening on this day. I'm supposed to be going to New Orleans. I would have to cut my vacation like 1 day short just to come back for a court case because you guys, basically didn't do your jobs and didn't clean up the mold after I said, hey, there's mold. So I'm emailing this woman, like, because once it was served, because I had my dates mixed up, like, of course, by 1 day, I was like, okay, you have to have the other person's permission to, sign a paper and be like, hey, will we agree to have it rescheduled? So I got in touch with them because I needed their permission. I needed them to sign something that said they would do it. So I typed up a thing and everything like, hey, can we have this adjourned to, a later date and time? So was emailing this woman, and then eventually she called me. So I was like, okay, we talked on the phone. I was like, yeah, so I need this. And she was basically like, well, we're not going to sign it like you set it up. She was being a bitch about it. It was like, you had the date, you should have done it right and stuff like that. So she was like, I'm not going to sign it. And I was like, okay. And that was pretty much it. Like, her first response actually was a super bitchy thing to do when I specifically said, would you be willing to sign this so that we can, so I can have it adjourned? Her specific response, I typed out like a full paragraph. Her actual response was, we'll see you in court. Thank you. That was her whole response. And I was like, am I being crazy? Because I was at work and I was like, am I being crazy? Or was that like super rude to have that like just generic direct response like that and not even really answer the question and just say, we'll see you in court? Because I'm like, that's interesting. And clearly she also didn't know who I was because when I actually called her, she was like, well, we're going to court over $100. And I was like, no, we're not. Which I found out actually because of her that they put a fake late claim on my account because of some stuff where I wasn't going to pay them for the mold issue. And so, of course, they put a late charge on there, which because I forgot who this woman was. She was some office manager. She was something, leasing manager or whatever. And the actual property manager, I talked to her, got the emails and everything. This is why I won in court. But she took the late charge off. And she specifically was like, this is what you have to pay. I thought it was like her BS way of apologizing because the price she gave me, I was like, clearly that's not how much I pay monthly. It was less than that. It was like less by like $50. So I thought her BS thing, her like fake apology was taking off $100 or technically taking off $50 plus the late charge. So it was like, okay, I'll pay and save $50. Big whoop. Like you didn't do your job and that was your fake apology. So I was like, sure. She specifically sent that email. Like we were on, like it was literally like, okay, I just paid it. And she emailed me right back. Like she was on her computer as I paid. And I was like, all right, just paid it. She was like, thanks. It was literally as I did it and I paid exactly what she told me. She said, thanks. And then that was it. And then later there's suddenly a late charge. So that's what this other woman thought was happening, was like, we were going to court over $100. And I was like, no, I have a lawsuit against you guys. So she didn't know who I was. She knew my name. She knew who I was, but she didn't know what was happening. And so I'm like, I explained it to her like, no, this is what's happening, but I need this. And then that's when she was like, oh, well, you had the dates wrong, so we're not going to sign it. I was like, okay. So I had to pay like $300 to buy a plane ticket to leave my vacation a day early to go to court. They didn't show up to court that day. So of course I was super pissed. I was like, I paid like $300 to do this because they wouldn't sign this paper. And then no one showed up. So then when I won default judgment, their claim was, well, we don't have to pay him. We didn't even know we were getting sued. And I was like, that makes no sense. Literally spoke to a woman on the phone. Her first response was, we'll see you in court. And so that was like the first thing I did. Like, I know their lawyer was pissed. She was so mad. I was just sitting there watching people go up and I'm just waiting. I'm like, we'll see how long this takes for me. And they called my name and I was like, all right, here we go. So I have my whole folder. I wish I actually had it with me. I have like tons of pictures. I still have all this stuff because I have to go back to court for the new lawsuit. And so the attorney, she said her stuff. Like, it was no one from the actual office. It was just their attorney. So I was like, okay. She said her stuff. I told the judge, I was like, I literally called them, spoke to someone, have an email directly from this person. I read, I was like, this woman's name. And then her, it was like the whole thing where it says the person's name and their number and exactly what they do in the office. It was all that information in the email because it was like her little title card at the end. So I was like, I have this. This is what she said. Handed it off to the bailiff. He gave it to him, and it was like, well, it's right here. It doesn't really matter anything else. Like, he literally called to try to have it adjourned, specifically telling someone, even if they didn't know, that was when they would know, because I specifically told this woman, well, no, I'm actually suing you guys for this. If you didn't know, that's when you knew. Like, I literally told someone, he was like, it's not his fault to have some rogue person within the office. That's not on him. Like, he literally called and did everything he was supposed to. And I was out of there in like maybe 10 minutes. It was like the fastest thing in the universe. I know their attorney was pissed because she was like, I don't even know who this woman is. That's because they fire everybody I had to deal with. So she's gone. I know the property manager is gone because they have a new one. The maintenance guy that I was working with, he was the first one who left because I emailed him like a month after they did their job. And I was like, hey, this mold has come back. I emailed him and the property manager. She never responded whatsoever. He gave me the info for a new property manager. Never heard from that person either. So he was gone. The new property manager never spoke to them. The new maintenance manager never spoke to that person. The property manager still never got in touch with me. And so that's when I just went through the whole lawsuit process. So then I have to go through it again because of spending the $300. That was not a part of my first claim. That was a separate thing. So that is a part of what I'm suing them for now, as well as other stuff, which all of this happened before the lockdown, by the way, because I was like, all right, going to do all this. And then the lockdown hit. I was like, I'm going to have them served. It was supposed to be, I think, April 4th or something would have been my court date. And then, of course, things happened. So I went, and I was like, this is probably going to, because like just knowing me and my crappy life, I was like, I know it's probably going to happen, but I tried anyway. I went, I was like, can I have these papers served? They're like, yeah. And they took the papers and stuff. And I think like 3 or 4 days later, the dude called me and was like, yeah, so they're shutting everything down. I'm just going to have to mail you all your papers back. And I was like, I figured that might happen. So eventually, earlier this week I called, and that's when I went back up there to actually have the papers served. And then, of course, because of just the way things are, this isn't really a my life sort of thing. This is just a country thing, which you've probably heard the news because it's been real crazy lately. But there was actually a protest as I went up to the thing. And I was thinking, when he said it, in my head, I was like, okay, there's a protest, like outside of the courthouse and stuff like that. That's where they're protesting. I'll just, weave through the people. It's no big deal. Like, they're not going to fight me. I trust me, I'm on their side for why we have these protests. But I didn't realize it was like, they genuinely like block things off. I thought it was, like I said, I was thinking it's going to be a bunch of people in the parking lot and that's it. But it was like, no, they blocked off like the road and like the freeway entrances were closed. I had to take a different exit and like loop around and then park somewhere else and then walk to the courthouse because that's how much they have blocked off for this protest. And I was like, I already decided to do it. So I went and I walked in and did all that. Had to go to 7-Eleven because I need like a money order to send the money to the treasurer and extra stuff with their papers. So it took longer than anticipated, but that's what I did on Thursday. So I had that taken care of, and I was like, all right. And they called me yesterday, so they served the apartment complex, and I think my court date is like June 12th or something, like the new court date that we have. So they don't have much notice, but someone specifically signed, because the last time I did it, I sent certified mail. So I was like, well, they're not going to BS me this time. I'm going to have a human being specifically serve them, and they can't possibly say anything. So like if someone does that, they sign the back and everything, like I'm the person that delivered it. This is the person who I delivered it to. This is the day, this is the time, this is the address and all that stuff. So I was like, they can't possibly BS me like, oh, we lost it in the mail, like, which is what they tried to do. So I was like, I'm going to have someone actually do it, which is amazing how much money it costs to sue somebody. Like the amount of money and time I've spent having to get the money that they owe me is insane. But I want my freaking money. So, especially because it's like they owe me like $3,000. Like that's how much they seriously owe me. Altogether at least, because the first one was like $2,700, and then this new one, I don't even remember because it was like the beginning of the year when I wrote it down. It was like the $300 I spent plus gas and wages. Like it was probably like 4 or 5. I don't remember how much money I put on there, but it was probably like altogether like about $700. And because I was already going through the stupid process dealing with them anyway, I was like, I don't mind taking the extra time to do, even though it's only like $700, I didn't mind taking the time to do it because I want like all of my freaking money. So whatever I put on there, it was probably more than that. It's probably stuff, I've forgotten because it's been months now since I even filled all that stuff out before the lockdown. So I don't remember. I'd have to check my papers to know exactly what amount of money I put for the second lawsuit. But It's been insane with them, and eventually I'll have a full video on that. I'll have all my pictures and all the emails and all that good stuff. But do not move if you happen to live in Michigan. Do not move to Arbor One. It is a terrible place. I'm sure there are people that are fine there who don't have to deal with mold, but the building I'm in needs to, like, literally, it needed to be like completely destroyed and rebuilt. Like, the foundation is horrible. Like, there was mold in like the hallway, and I didn't think of this when it happened, but they had to put fans in our hallway because the moisture from the ground was coming right up into the carpet. And I realized this when, I realized it because of the fans. I didn't think about it, like I said, at the time, because I kept smelling this scent. I just assumed somebody had some strong fragrance or whatever. It was mold. It was mold literally like coming out of the ground and like growing underneath the carpet when you step down, because the humidity was insane and it wasn't built right. And I didn't realize that until they, had the fans in there. And then when I was moving, I had a box in my closet that was wet on the bottom. It was like just literally just a spot on the bottom that was wet. And I was like, this place sucks. It was literally, the water came up and like messed with the box a little bit at the bottom, and I had a wet spot on a box that had been in my closet the entire time I lived there, because it was probably like one of the things I have in my closet now is probably like my old comic box. So those don't move. They go in one spot, and it's like until I get like a mansion and I'm putting all my comics on the walls and stuff. All my old stuff just, it sits in the box. GameCube games and stuff like that. All the things I'm not currently using, they go in one spot, as we all know. You put it there, and then you're done with it. And I picked it up, and I'm like, there's a wet spot on the bottom of this box. And there's, like, fans in the hallway, because water was rising from the ground, because that's how crappy this building was. So it was insane. But when I finally went to do it, of course it was the protest. So warm that day. I was like, crap, I'm like walking again and it's warm. But went through, no big deal. I still have to send off the stuff to the treasurer myself because it saved me a buttload of money. The guy was telling me, like, you'll save way more money if you end up sending it yourself than if we do it, because they would count by the mile. And I was like, all the way to Lansing, I'm not about to pay that for a letter. And I have to pay mileage from, for a letter traveling up to Michigan, or traveling. Well, technically that's true. It would be traveling up Michigan. So I was like, okay, I'll do it all myself. So I'm end up doing that. I was going to do it that day, but I was like so tired, and I also still had to like write all my information out. And I'm like, especially for this sort of thing, I'm like, let me make sure I write all my addresses 100% perfectly. Like, I was like, I'll do it at home. And when I know I did it right and I'm confident, because I'll look at the computer for like 30 straight minutes before I write anything down, because that's like the last thing you want to screw up is something, legal. So for that sort of thing, I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to, get all my information the right way, and then I'll go and I'll mail it off. So I'll probably end up doing that either Monday or Tuesday. And that's for the garnishment. So that's not as urgent as like the court case stuff, because they had to be served within a certain time, which is actually by next Friday. Otherwise, I would have had to pay more money and like do a brand new case file. And I was like, no, let me make sure all this gets done. And then the treasurer stuff I can just do on my own time. And then eventually they'll just yank their money out of their taxes, and then it'll be sent right to me. So that really is the short version of that story. As long as that is genuinely the short version of that story, with still not all the details. But yeah, that was like the short version of the story of me moving from my old apartment and why I'm currently here. Crazy mold issue and shitty human beings. Classic. So that was Thursday, and that was pretty much it. So that was pretty much how that happened. And then Friday was pretty much not much, cleaning up, and today is still a bit of organizing, things like that. And I have to go to my dad's because I had some stuff sent there by mistake. I forgot to change the address on Amazon. And so I have the second part of my mom's gift, which I'll show that off. It'll either be later or I'll just end up doing it tomorrow as the ending. Like, that'll be the ending. Like, I'll show off the stuff that I got my mom. And I also ended up buying something else. So, of course, because I'm so weak, don't even remember how it happened, but I ended up seeing something, and I was like, well, like, I gotta have that too, I guess. So things are happening. And also, the thing I've been waiting for on eBay still hasn't gotten here. And I'll just tell you guys, it's a record. It's another record, which of course is why it's taking so long. And it's the Uncharted 4 record, because they sold out on IM8-bit. And so, like, I was like, holy crap, I need that. So I went and I did my, I need to check my email, because I don't think IM8-bit sent me my thing yet. Unless I just forgot that I bought it and it already came in. Okay, it didn't. No, okay. So I need to check my email, because IM8-bit still hasn't sent out my Uncharted Lost Legacy thing either. And I know they're, behind on shipping stuff, but they normally shipped pretty fast, even with the delays, I haven't had an update, and that was weeks ago when I did that. Actually, I think I did it all on the same day. Like I bought that day, and then I went on eBay and I found the Uncharted 4 album as well, and that's been super annoying because like I had the gun, like my RPD gun, my Stars gun for Resident Evil. I bought that after, got it first. That still took a long time. That was like the second longest, I think. I don't know what the deal is with albums. I really don't understand. I got my collector's edition. That took a minute as well, but still got that before the album. I truly don't understand why albums just seem to take forever. I don't know what it is. And so I asked the person if they could put a file in. It was last week, and so I was like, I'll wait a little bit because I think it was the week. It was like before Memorial Day weekend. It was like, okay, like it updated recently back then. Oh, my neighbors are vacuuming now. And so the guy was like, or whoever it is, I don't know if it's actually a guy, the person. They were like, if it does, it should get here by Tuesday because like it recently updated at that point, and it's probably like 30 minutes away from me, if not closer. Like the Detroit distribution center where it's been forever at this point is less than 30 minutes away from me. I don't understand how it's not like they have it and somehow it's just not like, okay, this is going less than 30 minutes away. Here you go. Like, I don't know what the weird deal is with albums, but they're like, if it doesn't get here by Friday, let me know and I'll put it in the file. So I let them know. And then they sent me this link. It kind of pissed me off. It sent me this link where like it's the USPS thing. And I was like, I don't give enough about that. Put it in the file. I didn't actually say that. And I'm probably going to get in touch with them today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, because I'm focusing on like right now because I know it'll get here eventually, so I'm not like insanely hard pressed. It just bugged me because it was like, well, don't say you're gonna send the file if I'm gonna be like, hey, didn't get here, can you put the file in for the search, and then you send me a link saying there are delays. That was a month ago. I think I ordered that thing. You'd have to look back, but I talked about when I got the Uncharted collection. I think I talked about like, oh, it went on sale and I bought it. If not, it's been like a month. It was weeks ago when that happened. And like I said, I got my replica gun. I got I've got all my Resident Evil stuff in now that I think about it because I got the badge, I got the collector's edition, and I got my replica gun. Which, by the way, because some people mentioned it about the rules and stuff, that's not ever leaving the house. I guess I didn't mention that. That gun will never leave the house. That's why I took the thing off. That gun will literally never leave this apartment except for being in the box. So you guys don't have to worry about like rules and stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to put airsoft guns or pellets in that at all. Like the only time I might use that is if I decide to do like a fan-made Resident Evil video, but you guys don't even need to worry about the rules on that because it will not be leaving this apartment ever. So don't worry about that. Because I guess I didn't mention it. I was just nerding out about it. But yeah, it will never be leaving this apartment. So as far as the rules go with taking off the orange tip, there's no problems. I plan on not doing cosplay with that or anything like that. And if I do, admittedly, I'll probably just buy a second one because I might buy some of the little custom stuff so I can put like the different pins in them and things like that. So I'll probably end up buying a second one anyway, like way down the line at some point. But I wanted to throw that in. I just thought of a comment that was like on the last video and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably mention that. You guys don't have to worry about that. Like it's never leaving this apartment, so I won't get in trouble for it. It'll be good if someone happens to break in. It's like the closest thing I got to a defense. Well, I mean, I got my katanas all over the place, but if the gun's closer, I'll be like, boom, surprise, stars. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then they sent me that link, and I was just really, I was like, all I had to do was just put the stuff in. Like, it's you know how long it's been. It's not like, oh, it's a delay. Like it's been months. And like I said, I'm probably gonna mention that like, hey, I've ordered like 3 other things that have gotten here before this record has. So I'll probably talk to them about that soon. But also at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to get into a stupid argument with this? Because it probably doesn't have to be an argument, but that kind of bugged me because it was like, don't say you're gonna, like I said, don't say you're gonna do something, and then when I mention it, you just send me a link, and I'm like, I know there are delays. It's been almost a month. Like I get the delays because of the virus. Trust me, I understood that part. Can you put in the search thing so that they might, because it'll probably push them into doing it. If they have to do the research, then it'll probably make them, because that's what the person did with the gun, and then it actually updated, and they sent him a thing like, hey, sorry for the delays, this is what's happening, stuff. And after that happened, all the updates actually did end up coming in, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I think it actually did get here probably soon after that, and it may have been close to getting here anyway. But I like to think that was probably a bit of a push where they were like, okay, someone's specifically asking for this item. Because how many people are really doing that? Everyone's probably doing, what the person did was like, well, there's delays. It's the virus. Of course, everything's coming slower. Yeah, but I'm tired of waiting for that because it's genuinely been about a month now since I ordered that, and that's a long. Well, dang, I have to look back at the old vlogs because I don't remember how long it took for the other stuff. Let's see, what time is it? Somebody called me. Is that my dad? It was my dad. Okay, I've definitely talked long enough. This will still be a decently sized episode, of course, but for now, that is, I guess, technically Thursday and Friday, and a bit of Saturday. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go get the second part of my stuff from my mom. I'll probably end up doing that today. I was gonna wait, but now that for the most part, I've cleaned up enough to where I'm like, okay, it's not like I had so much stuff on my couch still, and that was like the main thing. I was like, I don't want all this stuff on my couch. I can't do videos either if my stuff is on my couch because of the background. So I was like, at the very least, I have to clear the whole couch off, or at least for the most part, and have my last couple of things that I can just, slide right under, slide under the couch. So that's pretty good. So I might actually shoot over to my dad's now, and pick up the stuff, and yeah, that'll pretty much be it, and I'll show you guys what it is that I ended up getting from Amazon because I was super weak. But it made me think of the other thing I've been waiting for forever, which of course is this freaking eBay item and this album. Then I'll be close to having my collection because like I said, I still need to check I Am 8-Bit. Lace Records, of course, being in the UK, who the F knows? I got my pre-orders in. I got my records. I think they sent an email a few weeks ago about the Tekken ones, so I think that'll probably get here sooner than the Resident Evil stuff, but I'm honestly not expecting that to happen until... Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if my Lace Records came in, if I'm still doing the vlog, it'll be a part of the vlog at the time, but it won't be, the lockdown anymore, but that probably won't get here till the end of summer, almost fall at this point, because the virus is really crazy, and that I know that company is overseas, so I haven't even been pressed about that. I'm like, they'll get here when they get here. I knew that was going to take forever, so I'm just like, yeah, we'll see what happens. I Am 8-Bit is in the country, so I think that's a bit sooner. I just have to check the updates for that because they probably sent something out for that one as well, but I'm not really surprised that took a minute, but a little surprised because that was also almost at this point, I think that was 3 weeks ago, so I'm still surprised. Even with that, I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't shipped out, especially because that was the end of it was on it's been on sale. It was a big sale, so I'm like, maybe they just had a lot of people ask for it, but also they should already be pressed. That's they're not made to order, but either way, crazy delays. I'm sure they're still making money because you got to get your nerdy stuff in. They've had some new announcements as well, but either way, that is the week. I'll probably end it out probably later tonight, or most likely I'll probably just end up doing it Sunday or tomorrow, I guess, and that'll be the official end for this one. But yeah, I feel good that I cleaned up. I actually did something. I wish I had the patience to sit down and edit, but I was like, I can't just sit in front of this computer with the way I was feeling. I was like, I'll just get up. As much as I hate cleaning, I'd rather clean than just be sitting in front of the computer dealing with the edits. I really wish I didn't screw that up so bad, because that's definitely a big impact on how I've been feeling, because I'm like, I have to do that before I get into... I still haven't played the Mortal Kombat stuff. I haven't opened up Resident Evil. I haven't even downloaded Mortal Kombat Aftermath, but that's the next video. I'm going to save my Uncharted Online stuff for a little bit later. Mortal Kombat is the next thing I'm doing, and eventually I'll be uploading to the channel. But that's it for now, and I will see you guys later. Welcome everybody to the end of the vlog. As you can see, I have a strip of light on me. It's about 7 or so, I think. I always check the time after I start recording. It's 7:49. Nice sun. Oh, right in my face. Sun setting. So I was like, I want to be over here because I haven't been on this side in a minute. So I was like, well, giant strip of light. It's nature. It is what it is. But it is Sunday, as I mentioned. Odds are I figured I'd end up doing it today. So I wanted to talk about the couple things I did so far. Nothing, not much. I watched Blind Spot, caught up on that. Good episode. I was surprised when it ended. I thought it was going to commercial, and then the credits came up, and I was like, dang, good cliffhanger. Went to my dad's, picked up the stuff I mentioned, the second part of my mom's gift. So I'll talk about that, this is part 1, actually. It actually got delivered in this fancy box, which I thought was cool, because I got it from Amazon, so I was just thinking, it's just a thing or whatever. I thought this was just, a part of the, when you go online, they show all the pictures and stuff. I just thought that's what this was for. I just assumed I'd get this in, a little wrapping or whatever, but I was like, no, it came in the neat little box. But I got my mom this little wrist strap deal. I don't know how well that'll zoom. It's like a tree on it, and it actually comes with all these little I guess they're felt or cotton. I'm not sure. Either way, it's for oils and stuff like that. So, you know, the different scents, eucalyptus and all that good stuff. And that's definitely something she's into. So that's like her big thing. And I think I talked about all the tree stuff and like symbols and all that good stuff. So there's that. And then today I went to pick up the actual premium essential oils, as they're called. Laguna Moon. Wow, that's strong. Holy crap. I didn't smell it. I didn't realize how reflective that was. But there you go. If that helps at all. It probably doesn't. But there you go. I hope I didn't screw this up. I didn't smell them at all when I first opened it. Very strong. Definitely, what was it? Probably, I think either the peppermint or the tea tree. I think it was the tea tree that like hit me as soon as this thing opened up. Possibly the eucalyptus as well. But got 6 little oils there. Nice and neat. And considering how tiny those little things are, I think it only takes like maybe a drop or two, you know, to put the scent all the way through. So they should last for a good amount of time. And I think she'll enjoy that because she likes jewelry and she likes all the, you know, the little tree motif and all that good stuff. And she definitely is the family like scent person and candle. You know, that's my mom, is like some classic mom stuff. Scents and candles, all that good stuff. Different colored towels, all the things that I hate that I think are a waste of money. But I mean, I don't think I can talk. Anyway, other thing I guess I can't talk about, but I got another album. Saw this, whoops. It's Metal Gear. There you go. It's Metal Gear Solid Snake. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Honestly, I want to keep it, and now I feel weird. I'm like, once again. So I was complaining when I first got the Resident Evil stuff. I was like, I don't see why they don't just make it a part of the album cover. Like, I kind of get it because I guess, you know, some people will literally frame it so you would just have like the piece of art. And it's like, I guess that's why they do it that way, but it just seems so weird to me. I don't know. And I guess that's why. I didn't think of that before, but I guess that's why. In that case, I thought it made even more sense to just have it on the actual piece because the picture was like so shrunken in. This would get blocked off by that, but it's cool. I saw the collector's edition as well, or I guess it would be the limited edition. Same thing, I guess. And it was Gray Fox on it. So that's the ninja from Metal Gear, for anyone who doesn't know. And it was just like his helmet. He has a cool mask and stuff. And that does look way cooler than Snake with snakes wrapped around him. But I was like, I'm not going to pay a bunch of extra money just for that. I love Metal Gear. It, at one point, was my second favorite franchise. And this is also available from Mondo. Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Silent Hill 2. Available online at mondotees.com and all good record stores. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to check that out, but I'll make a wish list. I won't buy anything else. But this is actually on Amazon, so I happened to, I don't know what it was. It was probably something stupid with eBay, and I went on, and I saw something, and it made me think of something else, and I was like, does Metal Gear have albums? I think that's what it was. I think it genuinely just made me think of other franchises that I liked, and I was like, I actually don't have anything to represent Metal Gear. Like, I don't have anything in my little collection except for literally I have the first, like, my original PlayStation copy, and that's it. And I have my PS2 copy of MGS3, and that's about it, because unfortunately a ton of my PS2 games were stolen, so I don't have Metal Gear Solid 2 anymore. So I have 1, 3, and I also have the HD collection, so I technically do have 2 again. So I have 2 remastered, 3 remastered, and Peace Walker, which I was going through. And then my PlayStation died on me because I was like, oh, well, I'll get this collection, which I also got off eBay. Like, years ago, I was kind of doing what I'm doing now, where I was, like, picking up things that I hadn't had before. In this case, it was more collectible stuff, but then it was specifically for games. So I was looking up, like, a bunch of old PS3 games. I bought, like, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. Huge mistake. Of course, I think, honestly, after I bought that combo on PS3, maybe 2 months after that was when they made the announcement, like, we're remaking Shadow of the Colossus. And it was like, at first it was like a remaster, and it was like, no, that, because they call it a remaster, which is really weird, because that's a full-on remake. Because when they first said remaster, I was like, oh, that sucks, it could have been higher definition, but it was like, oh, it's just a game by itself. And then I saw it, and I was like, that's not just a remaster, that looks freaking phenomenal, so I have to buy it again. I haven't even played it yet, so that was another thing. Same with, Kingdom Hearts, same thing. I bought initially the 2.5, or no, the 1.5 remix when that very first came out on PS3. I bought it. It's still in the plastic right now. I just never ended up playing it because I was like, I'll save it for the channel. Never did that. Huge mistake. And then they did 2.5, and then they did the PS4 version where it was like, here's every game except for 3. And I was like, well, dang, I wasted money on that. The Shadow of the Colossus thing at the very, well, I guess it depends on if I can fix my PS3. It may or may not have been a waste. Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. I bought all of those. The third one I have on the Wii U, which still works. But 1 and 2, I actually was doing those for the channel. I just hadn't posted them yet, and I still have like 5 episodes of Ninja Gaiden like just sitting on my computer because I'm like, I don't want to get rid of them, but also I have to figure out if I can even fix my PS3 and like have the data on it. If I have to start that over, that's not that big of a deal. It was more for like all the games that I beat a million times over. Like I don't want to have to redo Dead Space 2. I went through that like 5 or 6 times. That's like one of my greatest gaming achievements is going through that on the hardest difficulty. 3 saves, 12 hours. That was tough. And it was very annoying because they don't have skippable cutscenes in that game. And the opening to that game, as amazing as it is, Dead Space 2 is one of the best video game openings ever. If you haven't played it, highly recommend the Dead Space franchise. I can only sort of recommend it because if you get caught up in it like I did, because I love the franchise, you'll be very sad because they canceled it because EA is garbage. And they screwed it up and they made 3 like, it's gonna have this and that, microtransactions. EA did that and then it ruined 3. The DLC came out for 3. Absolutely amazing. Everybody was like, this is what we wanted from the main game because they kind of let Visceral Games do what they were good at and they just made something amazing. And then they canceled it. And then they're like, we're canceling that Star Wars and we're going to cancel that Star Wars thing too. Everybody's fired. Get that out. So that's EA. That's why I hate them. But anyway, yeah, you can't hate Konami. That's the thing. I won't get into all that. That's a bunch of stuff. Good things though. I love Metal Gear. The music is great. I love the games. One of these days, I'll complete the story. I was doing it a little bit. I was going kind of slow, but I was like, PS3, I'm gonna do Peace Walker because I was like, I want to play through the whole thing. I have Ground Zeroes on Steam, and I was like, I'll finally play 5. Also still in the plastic. Wish I never bought it because now you can get like the super fancy version where it has all the DLC with it. Once again, you think sometimes you buy stuff and you think you're gonna make it, and you don't, and so it just happens. I did that with a million games on Steam. That's why I have like 100 games on there, and I've started 50. I haven't beaten 50, but I've started like 50 of those games technically. So that's how it is. Recently, Epic, it depends on when I finally actually edit this, but Epic just put out the Handsome Collection for Borderlands, which is Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. And I think I bought that on Steam because I had the first one forever, which I actually did beat. And eventually I was like, all right, I'm going to do 2. And the only reason I actually didn't play through 2, like it wouldn't have been a waste of money. I might actually need to test that. I could not play it on my laptop. It literally would freeze at the opening menu. Like it would go through the whole first video, like the opening video where they like show the characters and play the music. It would go through that, but as soon as it got to the main menu, the camera would start rotating and it would just freeze. And I could not figure out why it's not that powerful of a game. It's not like my settings were like insanely maxed out or anything like that. And even if they were, you'd think it would have stopped, on the normal video instead of going through the whole thing, no problems, and then freezing on the main menu because the camera rotates around. So I don't know. Didn't think about that until just now, but it should work on my actual computer. But for some reason, it never worked on my laptop. I couldn't understand why. So that wouldn't have been a waste, but I think I did pay for it. I think it was $2. If I'm being totally honest, it was like 90% off. I remember it being super cheap, and I was like, I'm not going to not buy that. It was $2, so I'm not like mad about it. And I genuinely did try. I was actually going to play it. And I think, now that I think about it, I think that $2 was actually it was more for the pre-sequel because I already had 2 at the time. So I bought 2 separately, and then I basically bought it again when I bought the Handsome Collection for like $2 because it was every single bit of DLC. So I was like, I had a bunch of DLC when I got Borderlands 2 with it because I got that for super cheap, probably $5. And then that came out and I was like, well, dang, I wish I didn't buy that before. And that was also, from the concept of I can't play the game. So I think I did try even before the Handsome Collection came out. But I was like, even though I can't play it now, I still can't pass on like $2, which I could have because Epic just put it out for free. So I totally could have passed on it and I would have ended up having it anyway. But not a lot of stuff ends up going on sale for $2, even if it's super old, even with Steam sales. Things, in the realm of Borderlands, which I guess at this point, Borderlands 2 is super old now. I guess $2 isn't that crazy, but at the time I was like, sure, I'll pay for that. It's only $2. I'll get that extra DLC. And now it's like, dang, I could have just waited and got it all for free. But that's how it goes. I've learned my lesson. I knew I can't buy any games unless I know I'm going to play them, which is why I haven't bought anything. Well, that's not true. I bought some stuff on the Switch that I haven't played or I haven't beaten. I've been doing like my one game at a time thing. I think I mentioned Astral Chain before. I should have beat that game a long time ago. It's made by Platinum Games. That should be like the game I focus on. But like I haven't really been playing much of anything this week. I haven't done jack. So after this, I am going to officially go in and I'm going to edit the finale for the video for the Deadly Tower Monsters because I need to have that done. I have to do that, and then Mortal Kombat is next. I want to do Mortal Kombat, so I'm just gonna finish the finale. I'm gonna play through all of Mortal Kombat. I'm not even gonna worry about my schedule at this point. Like it's been such an insane week. I'm not even worried. Like I mean, obviously, I'm like a week behind anyway. I'm not gonna let it reach another week, but I'm like, it doesn't even matter at this point. Like, I'm going to finish that finale up, and then I'm going to go through, get as much as I can for, I mean, it's only going to be like maybe 2 to 3 hours anyway for the new story mode, and I'll probably do some matches since I have my PS Plus. And then other than that, I should be good. After that, I'm going to go to like my PC games. I need to do tabs again. That was hilarious. I need to utilize that footage. I need to work on my Resident Evil video that I have planned. So I got a lot of stuff that I need to work on, but for now, that is the end of this week's vlog. Hope you guys are still staying safe as usual. We should be getting closer. So I mentioned this before, with all the protests and stuff, I have no clue what's going to end up happening with Michigan. People are flipping out. You know, I mean, people were flipping out all over the place. Like, you know, we wanted haircuts and all that stuff and not wearing masks. So depending on how this plays out, because I mean, the 12th would technically be the second week anyway. We're going to know what's happening based on these protests in 2 weeks. Well, at least in Michigan, like our lockdown is officially until June 12th. So we'll know for sure, and then we'll see what the governor does. Other places, I don't know how their lockdowns are or anything like that. So in general, we're about to see what's going to happen. And I wish I could say I was confident that it's just going to be fine. People were able to protest, and it was all good. But this virus is really crazy, and that's why the world stopped. So I want to say I'm really hopeful, but I don't know. I don't know what that means for Michigan as a whole. In general, I think it's about to be really bad in 2 weeks. Like I think we're about to hit our second wave because of these protests and not because of like the natural progression, because that was always a thing anyway. But it's just even crazier. Like we can't even have a virus, you know, without something else going wrong. It's like, it's nuts. The world is crazy. I don't know why I keep rubbing my nose like that. I feel like I have to do that. I don't know why. I feel like I'm a little bit sleepy. Maybe that's why. I feel like that. I feel like I do different movements when I'm close to being sleepy. Like I do this a lot, and that's when I just like kind of like a bit more mellow. Like I'll do this, and it's like I'm kind of being lazy because I'm slightly just leaning on my hand a little bit, which is funny. It's weird the different movements I make based on how awake I am. So hopefully I can get through this editing without going insane, because I really don't want to edit. Like that's the thing. I don't think I've specifically mentioned this before, but I hate editing. It is genuinely my least favorite part of creating as a whole. I despise editing entirely. Like even when it goes smooth, even when it's smooth, like if I could use Power Director, I'd feel better about it because it'd be like, oh, you know, it's a lot faster. I still hate it though, because you still have to watch the whole video all over again. Like even when I do these, I still go through and I watch all my stuff at 2 times the speed, which fortunately I learned how to do that from YouTube. Because I was like, well, I can just kick up the speed, and everyone, like, it confuses everybody. Whenever they see me watching YouTube videos, everybody's like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, oh, it's just at 2 times the speed. So that's how I watch YouTube. So there's a little bit of insight on me. But I also do that with my videos, which definitely helps. And I think I did mention that like weeks and weeks ago, but I watch all my stuff back at 2 times the speed, but I still have to go through and be like, all right, especially for the gaming videos, I have to do it. Like, am I going to cut this? Am I going to cut that? For this, I leave everything in because it's me being very direct, and it's not like super long pauses and stuff unless, you know, the air comes on or the heat comes on, which shouldn't be an issue anymore because I just have the air off, because I mentioned before, the air is just on 24/7. If I turn it on, it's on. It hasn't been too crazy. Today, it's actually been all right. Yesterday was all right, and I think today was even better. Like I didn't sweat at all. I had my comforter on and everything when I woke up. I was like, I'm actually kind of cold. You know, same thing as I mentioned before, but I did it. I didn't feel warm at all. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't feel warm, but I didn't feel hot like at all. I was like, okay, perfectly fine. I got up. I was like, okay, nothing crazy. The only time I sweat is actually earlier today when I was eating, and I got Buffalo Wild Wings. I got my $10 credit, or my 10 wing credit. So I ate those, and I was on fire. Like I was sweating so hard, and I was like, all right. And I have a little fan right here. This fan, which I forgot I had, the Japanese fan, and yeah, I had to turn the thing like all the way up. I was genuinely like, I was sweating, which is super weird. Like, we do sweat when we eat. That's something you might not notice, but your body heats up. Like, when you eat, you will sweat. but I was on fire. And I was like, this feels weird because normally, and I guess it has to just be the temperature thing because I'll eat the hot wings and I'll never really sweat. Like sometimes, you'll sweat a little bit, especially if it's been a long time and stuff like that, or if you happen to have a ton of sauce, especially with that the mango habanero because it's that sweet. So it's like it's weird. Like it cools down and then it's like 10 times hotter. Like I feel like that should be the second hottest flavor because wild is just like, oh, wild is just spicy. That's no big deal. When you have mango habanero and it's sweet and then the spicy kicks in after the sweet, it's making my mouth water out thinking about it because I want to eat some more. I ate them all, but I really want some more hot wings now. That's so sad. But that sweet and then the heat, it just, I don't know. It's just like this weird roller coaster. And I guess that's what made me sweat. But I was sweating like crazy. And my tongue was on fire. I was like, this is weird that I'm so affected because I just ate, I ate them earlier this week. I didn't even really wait that long to use the credit. So I was like, it's super weird that it even affects me this much. So I don't know what the deal was today. It was like for some reason, maybe it's because they actually put a lot of sauce in. Like there was a ton in the mango habanero, and maybe that was it. It was just that they actually sauced them like crazy. I don't know, but for some reason I was like, this is so spicy today. I loved it, of course. Like I said, my mouth is genuinely watering up because I wish I had some more, but I don't know. For some reason, it made me sweat like crazy. So I had to have the fan on. And then I was going back and forth because I was like, all right, I'm sweating like crazy while I'm eating. And then I'm like, all right, well, now it's getting too cold with the fan on me. So I had to cut the fan off. And then I was like drinking water and drinking cranberry juice because my tongue was like on fire. And I was like, it normally doesn't last this long. What's happening today? It was super weird. And then I was like, I'm sweating. I was like, okay, well, now I'm cold because I had the fan. I didn't have it like turning. It was just like right on me because I was sweating so hard. I was like, I need the fan directly on me. Then I turned the fan down a little. I'm like, okay, balance it out. Let me finish these wings. Melting again, turn the fan back up, and it was just like it was a really weird cycle. Like I had to turn the fan back up. I'm eating. Now that I finished the wings, I can cool down a bit, and then I was like, all right, now I can turn the fan completely off because I started to get a little cold because drinking all the water and cranberry juice to like cool my system, cool my tongue off, and then that like cooled me down altogether. So an odd journey with the hot wings today. I wish I had more. Like I said, that's very sad, but very delicious. I haven't eaten my ice cream yet. I ate through all my Reese's. I ate all of that, but I still have my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I'm gonna eat some of that after I do this, and that'll be kind of my way to ease into my editing process. So that is the end of the week or beginning of the next week. I feel like I've done that the last 3 weeks, maybe the last full month of the vlog has been me finishing, technically starting, within the next week. That probably won't change. It was especially this week or last week. Technically, it was just crazy. It was a crazy week. Like going out, seeing the family, going to the doctor and stuff like. I don't know if I specifically mentioned that, but I went to the doctor. Pretty sure I did. Yeah, but went to the doctor, did all that. It's just been nuts. It was just a crazy week. And then right when I think I'm about to get my sleep schedule, something else has to happen. But that's life. We'll go into the next week. We'll see what happens with this freaking Uncharted 4 album. I didn't check today. But I'm probably going to check after this now because it's in my head. So I'm like, let me see where it's at. Maybe it'll be in the next vlog. I don't ever know. If it doesn't get here by next Friday, I'm going to contact the person again and be like, you need to put in a file. And if they send me that stupid link, then I'll actually be mad because I haven't even thought about it. I'm like, like I said, it'll get here when it gets here. But if it's not here by Friday, then I'm annoyed because it's less than 30 minutes away. Like it really should have been here. And I'm still super confused because it's specifically albums, and I just don't understand what makes albums so weird that they don't seem to get transferred like other things do. Like it's just really odd to me. Like I don't know what makes that happen, and it can't be that they really are prioritizing stuff. Because I mean, I got a freaking an airsoft pistol, not exactly essential. It's not like we have to make sure this dude gets a replica gun. So it's not like any of the stuff I've been buying has been like crucial or important or anything even close to that. Important to me, but don't really need it to live. So I don't understand what's going on with the album thing. I don't know why that's the case. I think I mentioned, but the stuff I got from my mom was on Amazon, so that's why the record, from Amazon came in so fast. But I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why eBay, it's not eBay, but I don't know why the post office slows all the records down, but everything else seems to come in, even if other stuff does take a lot of time. I have to check the date on that, so I'll talk about it in the next vlog. I'll probably talk about it, later tonight when I actually film, after I edit, because I'll talk about that amazing process of having that. It's like a weird weight on my shoulders, but at the same time, this week's just been so busy. That's mainly why I haven't done it, and Wednesday was just really bad, and I was just like, I didn't have the energy for it. But it's mostly just been like cleaning. I still have to clean the bathroom. I forgot about that. Ah, well, I'll do it when I do it. I live alone. Nobody's gonna complain. That's a great thing. But yeah, I'll talk about it. In the next vlog, we'll see what happens. Where I'm sure it hasn't updated. I don't even know. I'm thinking like I'm being oddly hopeful. It has. I'm sure it hasn't updated. It's not here, so I don't really. It doesn't matter. Even if it has updated, I'll be a little bit more excited. But it should be. It's Sunday. It's Sunday to Saturday. It has to be here. It's been about a month. I'm sure it's been about a month. So I'll know the exact date when I start up the next vlog. But for now, I'll end this one out. I think that was a good bit of extra rambling that I didn't anticipate because I had like my pseudo ending and then I went into something else. So that was good, especially for missing so many days. I still managed to ramble enough for at least an hour. This has to be an hour long. So I made up for it. But hope you guys are staying safe still. Hopefully things are just okay. I mean, it's just getting crazy. Like we had the pandemic and now we have all the crazy protests. And I mentioned before, like we need them. It's just such a crazy time to have the protests, but we'll just see what happens. I mean, we got like 2 weeks, and we'll see if everybody was okay. And things are just wild. Things are just so crazy in this country. Things are crazy all over Earth, but boy, the states, it's real dumb here sometimes. But hope you guys are okay. And I'll see you next week.